Hey there, it's Crystal Lopez here from crystalandcomp.com, and today I'm going to show you how to take fresh ingredients like this from your pantry, fridge, or freezer, your grocery store, and we are going to turn it into homemade dog food that looks like this. And your dogs are absolutely going to love it. Later on in the video, I'm going to tell you why we're doing this and kind of more of the details about that. But let me just tell you, we have 4 dogs. My dogs are loving this, and I'm doing it out of necessity. But honestly, it's probably one of the best things that we have done. And that the black and white Boston Terrier is the main reason why we are doing it. So let's dive into this and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do. So our Boston Terrier is about 12 years old now. We have had her since she was, I think, 8 weeks old, maybe 12 weeks old. And as she has gotten older, she has started to experience more and more of these skin allergies, eye allergies, things like that. And she already, so she's the dog that when you see her in the videos, sometimes people will say, "Oh my goodness, what's wrong with her leg?" She was born with a growth plate issue on one of her back legs, and so she walks a little different, but it's all that she knows. Like she gets around very well. She's a very healthy dog, but as she has gotten older, these allergy things have become a problem. And so we've gone to the vet. They've given us specific washes for her body, and they help. You got to stay on top of it, but they help. They have given us sprays that you can put on it to keep infection from happening. But I feel like since about April, it's really started to increase. And the only thing I can think is that is around the end of March is when my Costco membership expired, and I switched from Costco dog food that we'd been using for a long time back to Sam's dog food, which we hadn't used in a while. And typically I do grab the chicken, but they have other flavors and varieties as well. And I think they have great dog food. I think that dog food has been great for all of my dogs except for her. I think it is causing some issues with her skin. That is the thing that changed, and that's the thing that we changed in her diet, and that's when things started to change with her skin more and more and kind of escalated. And from what I've been reading, Boston Terriers can definitely have a reaction to chicken, and they can be fine and then it can change, right? They can be fine for years and then as they get older, it changes. So I started looking up special dog foods for her, and it's like $70 for a bag that it's not even that much. And like the most highly recommended one is like 70 bucks. So then what happens is we have these other 3 dogs and they would stay on the other dog food. And if the dog food is down, she could still get into the dog food. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they don't eat their dry dog food very quickly. So they kind of graze on it all day long. And it would just make it so much more difficult to that's a bad habit that we've created, and it would make it more difficult to keep her from getting into the other dog food. Does that make sense? So I thought, okay, I'm going to start researching homemade dog food. Well, first I looked at some of the pre-made that you can get delivered to your door that are real fresh ingredients, and I just can't afford to do that for 4 dogs. And it's back to the same thing. Like if I give her something different and them something different, there's a risk that she's going to get into their food, right? So, I was like, I am just going to try this. I'm going to make dog food for all of them and see how this goes. So I am like on my 5th or 6th batch. My dogs are loving it, and it's actually changing our feeding behavior with them because they eat it right away. They eat it right away. So we now have a routine where in the morning I split it up. So the 3 older dogs are at a weight where they can get 3 cups of food. So I give them 1.5 cups in the morning after they go out for their first potty. They come back in, they have a cup and a half of their food. And then in the evening before bedtime, I give them the other cup and a half. And then they go out for their last potty and then they get kenneled. So it's working out great because they love the food and they eat it right then and there. So it's really kind of tightened up our feeding schedule, but they all devour this and it is really good ingredients. So you notice I had a huge thing of kale that I got from HEB. If it had been smaller, I would have bought 2 of them, but did you see how ginormous that kale was? It was huge. Kale is a great superfood. I'm also using 2 sweet potatoes, and you saw how big they were. You want at least 3 to 4 cups of sweet potatoes, okay? And I had three or four carrots. We cut those up as well. You don't have to skin this stuff. You can if you want, but you don't have to. I am doing ground turkey, and I did 5 pounds of ground turkey for this recipe. So I am buying the ground turkey that's at HEB that comes frozen because that's the cheapest way that I can get it. And it's $1.98 for 1 pound. So it's an inconvenience that I've got to make sure that I get it defrosted, although these weren't fully defrosted and you could see that. But still, it's the cheapest way to buy the turkey. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing 5 pounds of that plus that huge, I mean, I don't even know how much kale that was, probably 6 cups of kale. It's going to cook way down. That was 2 really big sweet potatoes and then 3 or 4 big carrots, and we're chopping it all up. Now, in my time in making this, I have also made it in the Instant Pot. I actually prefer to do it that way because it's quick and easy. You just put it all in. You put in a cup to 2 cups of water. You've got to have at least a cup of water in there for your Instant Pot to work. I put it on 30 minutes or 25 minutes, and I let it cook. And it came out perfect. Now, the only difference is this recipe, I put sardines in it. I do not want to put sardines in my Instant Pot. So I added the sardines after everything was cooked. I don't really prefer to do it that way. If I'm doing it on the stove top, I add the sardines towards the end of the cooking so that they get heated up as well. And I do sardines in water. The sardines are great for the omega-3s, the fatty fish, or the fish oil and whatnot. It's really good oils for them, which is really good for their skins, for their skin and their coats, which is something that Princess really needs right now. So um, I don't want to put the sardines in my Instant Pot because that's going to make my Instant Pot lid smell terrible. And none of us are fans of sardines. So as it is, when I'm cooking this, my family's like, what is that smell? So I also use quinoa on this. You saw that I added 1 to 2 cups of water here. So the meat is going to create this fluid or juice as it's cooking. And then I added in 1 to 2 cups of extra water just so that we can help cook the quinoa. You want to do about 3 cups of quinoa. So I had 5 pounds of meat, 3 cups of quinoa, which really I kind of underdid the quinoa here. I think I ended up adding a little bit more. Um, and then it's cooking in all the juices, and that's going to help the potatoes and carrots cook. But I will tell you, if you do it in the Instant Pot, the potatoes and carrots cook. It's so fast. It's done in that 25-minute cook time, where here it takes time for those potatoes and carrots to be fork tender, right? Um, so you're not adding salt, pepper, you're not adding any of that. And if you want, instead of water, you can use broth, but you don't have to. I'm not going to use any chicken broth because I'm not giving Princess any chicken right now. So, is this cheaper than dry dog food? Absolutely not. This is costing me more, but it's cheaper to do it this way than to buy the super expensive dog foods that are the dry dog foods for skin sensitivities. And it's so much cheaper than buying something like Farmer's Dog or Ollie. I'm not opposed to those, I just don't have the budget for them. So this makes sense. I know those sardines, they smell so bad, but they're cheap. Like it's $1 and some change, and it is great fish oil, fatty omega for them. It's really, really good for them. Now, what I might do, I've done some research on some alternative supplements for the dogs that give them that omega and fish oil that I can buy in it would be a supplement that I can give to them, and then I can omit the sardines because it does smell terrible. Lenny's like, is there any way that this could be cooked outside? I don't know. I don't think so. Um, you do not have to add blueberries. I am adding blueberries. Blueberries in moderation are okay for dogs. They're actually a great antioxidant. Each dog is getting in a day, maybe 3 or 4 blueberries. So it's not a big deal. Um, did I already tell you? So for my 3 bigger dogs, they are getting 3 cups a day. So they weigh about 30 to 40 pounds. So they're getting a cup and a half in the morning and a cup and a half before they go to bed, before their last bathroom break. And then my Chihuahua, he gets, and I measure it too in ounces. So Eddie will get about a cup, 3/4 of a cup to a cup twice a day. And then I'll also measure it. I have a little food measure, a weight scale for food just to make sure, but I measure it out with a measuring cup and I just want to make sure that they're getting enough. They love it. There is nothing, you would be shocked. You would think. So at first, McCoy will pick out the carrots and sometimes they will pick out the blueberries, but then they come back and they eat them all. It is so wild to me watching them eat this. It is, they love it. And now they can't wait. They can't wait to go out and potty in the morning to come back in and get their food. It's really been an interesting process. So for this first day, or for this right after cooking it, I will measure them up. I've been putting them in these little food boats that we have just because I don't want to put this in their dog food bowls this is going to build. I don't want to have to hand wash all of that. And I don't feed my dogs I don't let our dogs eat off of our bowls or plates or whatever. So I've been putting them in these food truck boats, if you will. And I do, the first time that I make it, I make sure that it cools well before I serve it to them. Then I put it all into a container and put it into the fridge or freezer. Okay, so Lenny's here. Lenny, what do you think about the homemade dog food?
Gross. I'm glad. And there's so many times it's in the refrigerator, and all of a sudden I open it up. I'm like, there's something that's like, ugh, I'll shut it because it smells sometimes like fish or
It
something. I
doesn't
don't
smell in
know.
the fridge. It smells when I'm
No,
cooking
but
it.
when I
So
open it up to smell it, and it's like, yeah, when you cook it too, it's like a conglomerate of,
it's the
mm,
sardines.
yeah, okay,
So I
yeah,
store, so
sardines
one of these went into the fridge
says it all.
and one of them went into the freezer. And
Mhm.
you can keep it in the fridge for 4 to 5 days.
Why
Okay.
don't you just like leave the sardines out until you finish cooking that other stuff? It's probably would smell good, and then you just pour the sardines with the thickness of that oil all over it.
Well, I'm gonna look for a supplement that will do the same thing that the sardines do. I'm looking for a supplement. And I have another video coming up where I'm gonna show you how to make homemade dog food.
They love
They
it.
do.
They love it. I've never seen them eat their food so fast
I
and so
know, right? They're
furious.
getting in a good routine. So see, you
I think
guys,
you just feed them too much though.
you can see their skin. No, that is a
It's
cup
not
and a
there,
half.
it's her.
Yeah, you can
She has
see.
an allergy,
She
and
does.
so
She
that
does.
they're notorious for having them.
I
And
know. I feel so bad for her. Anyway, I've got another video coming up where I'm going to show you how to make homemade dog food using brown rice and spinach and pumpkin. Okay, so that's coming up. All right, let's show them some footage of our dogs through the years. So this is Rosie. We rescued her
yeah, I'm
from,
not a fan of Rosie
she's part Rhodesian Ridgeback and
and Beaver.
she basically eats the fence outside. We rescued her during COVID. She is so precious. So there she is.
Older
She is getting older. There's
and
Princess when we first got her.
yeah, part rabbit.
She was like a rabbit that was just a
Yeah,
bunny.
no,
These two are kennel mate.
they shouldn't be on my couch
I
either.
know this is an older picture, but
Yeah.
they do love each other. Here's McCoy when we first got him. So
Oh,
he was 18 months to 2 years. I had that documented over on my blog. Look at how dark he was. That's
yeah,
Matthew.
yeah,
Matthew's now 16. The boy holding the leash just got married a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Here's McCoy. This is from, I don't know, about a year ago
yeah.
or so. This is the dog that gets to do whatever he wants to do in the
Yeah,
house.
he has
Like,
free roam.
yeah, he's everybody's sweetheart. My kids did a photo shoot with him. Like they
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
And this is
There's
when it
Rosie when it snowed.
yeah, snowed again
Mm,
way back when it snowed here. It
mhm,
doesn't usually snow.
in San Antonio.
Yeah.
That's Eddie. Lenny brought Eddie home. That's the day Lenny brought him home. I don't have any current pictures of him. He was
They
so
told me he was
tiny.
gonna stay that small.
Yeah, he
He's gonna
didn't.
be like a teacup
No,
type
he
of
didn't.
thing. It's like, nah.
He's a pretty, I would say he's what, almost 20 pounds? He's a pretty good sized
Yeah.
little dog. And he is
He
something else.
he thinks he's the biggest.
He thinks he's the top
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
All right, guys.
He's the Napoleon little dog.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Watch one of these other
Been a
videos.
pleasure.
It
God
has been a
bless.
pleasure. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.